Hi everyone, it's Yilmay. Welcome to my channel, and today we're gonna deep dive into the psychological and philosophical thoughts on one of anime's most provocative series, Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Specifically, we'll be taking a magnifying glass on the concept of sacrifice, a theme that resonates strongly throughout the series. In Madoka Magica, it's all cutesy at first. Our characters, however, found themselves caught in a system that exploits their youthful dreams and fears, trapping them in a cycle of struggle and sacrifice. So, what drives this character to such extreme lengths? What does it mean to sacrifice? Let's take a closer look. Sacrifice is often viewed as the act of giving up something valued for the sake of other people. But in Madoka's Magica, it takes on a more complex and tragic dimension. This concept takes a harrowing form. Young girls presented with the seemingly glittering offer, like have any one wish granted.
その魂を対価にして、君は何を願う?
But in return, they must commit their lives into battling witches. It becomes an act of giving up one's humanity, happiness, and ultimately giving up one's life. Psychologically, people are driven to sacrifice out of empathy, out of love, or moral duty, factors heavily influenced by socialization. These driving factors are crucial to understand the motivations of our beloved characters in Madoka Magica. So, how does this concept of sacrifice shape and mold our beloved characters? We'll talk about Sayaka, Madoka, and Homura in this video. Please like and subscribe. Now, let's delve first into the character of Sayaka. Sayaka's wish is to be driven by love and noble desires to heal the boy she loves, Kyosuke. And she willingly sacrificed her normal life and even her humanity to becoming a magical girl in order to heal Kyosuke. This self-sacrificial behavior embodies what psychologists might term as the martyr complex, a psychological state in which a person feels compelled to suffer for others, even taking a sense of pride or fulfillment from their own pain and sacrifice. Sayaka's journey is tragic. There's no other way to say it. Sayaka's journey is tragic. And she views her actions as righteous, as fulfilling a grand purpose of love and benevolence, at least at first. But her sacrifice doesn't yield the joy she anticipates. Instead, it distances her from the very person she wants to get closer with. And instead, it introduces her to this world of pain and despair. She is left feeling empty, discarded, and unable to reconcile with the consequence of her actions. This is evident when she breaks down upon learning that magical girls essentially are just walking corpses, which reaffirms her belief that she is no longer human and thus not fit for Kyosuke.
こんな目に、戦いの運命を受け入れてまで、君には叶えたい望みがあったんだろう。それは間違いなく実現したじゃないか。
So, this psychological impact on Sayaka is just immense, pushing herself down further into self-destructive behaviors. She clings to this ideal of justice and righteousness, even as she descends into despair, refusing help from others and just isolating herself. This tragic downfall underlines the dangers of the martyr complex and its potential to lead individuals down a path of self-destruction when they fail to consider the broader implications of their sacrifices. In this sense, we see that Sayaka's selfishness unfortunately spiraled into despair, warping her into the very thing she fought against, a witch. Now, let's talk about Madoka's sacrifice. And our protagonist is Madoka in the story. And the story climaxes with Madoka's wish to erase all witches before they are born, throughout all time and space, effectively becoming this concept of hope towards all magical girls. This is a selfless act. It not only saves the future of magical girls, but also ends the suffering of those in the past, present, and future. Her wish to end the suffering of countless magical girls exemplifies the pure form of altruism. Altruism is a psychological term refers to the selfless concern for well-being of others, even at the expense of one's own welfare of oneself. It is often associated with actions that benefit others at the cost of oneself. Like in Madoka's case, she makes the ultimate sacrifices, leaving her human form behind, leaving her human life, her family behind, and becoming this abstract concept, unseen, mostly unknown for the sake of magical girls everywhere. But what exactly does she sacrifice? She gives up her existence, her ability to lead a normal life, her friends, her family, her future. She steps away from her place in the world to become this savior of magical girls. She turns into a hope, a whisper, a prayer for every girl who is about to despair, making sure they are never fall into the cursed fate of becoming witches. Madoka's decision can be viewed through the perspective of utilitarianism, a philosophy that promotes an action that maximizes happiness and well-being for the affected individuals. According to this philosophy, an action is right if it promotes the greater good of the humanity, of the greatest number. So Madoka's wish, albeit it comes at a personal cost, even though it's great, it still aims to reduce the suffering of a big number of magical girls, aligning with the utilitarianism principle. But that's not all. Let's talk about Homura's sacrifice. Homura Akami is a character whose entire existence becomes devoted to saving Madoka. Homura is arguably one who sacrificed the most. She gave up her time, her sanity, her own self-identity in her endless quest to protect Madoka, trapped in a time loop of her own creation. Homura's wish was to redo her meeting with Madoka, but this time, she would be the one who saves her, instead of the other way around. And to make this wish come true, Homura ends up trapped in a seemingly endless loop, reliving the same month over and over again, with each iteration ending in tragedy. And that's just depressing. Her actions and choices can be understood through the psychological concept of this interpersonal devotion. It describes the extent to which individuals are willing to sacrifice themselves for those who they deeply care about, driven by strong emotional attachments. And in Homura's case, her commitment to save and protect Madoka goes to extreme lengths, showcasing a profound interpersonal devotion. Her every action, her every decision is driven by her sole desire to protect Madoka from her tragic fate, even if it means enduring immense personal suffering, even if it means to become insane. But this devotion takes a really dark turn in the movie sequel, Rebellion. Driven by the desire to create a world where Madoka can live happily, Homura usurps Madoka godhood, rewriting the universe. C justifies this drastic action by arguing that the ends, Madoka's happiness, justify the means, usurping Madoka's wish. Here we dive into this very interesting philosophical debate between deontology and consequentialism. In deontology, it is a view where an action is considered morally right if it aligns with one's moral values, regardless of the outcome. From this perspective, we can see that Homura's actions might be viewed as morally wrong, as they disregard Madoka's selfish wish and personal autonomy. On the other hand, consequentialism argues that an action is morally right if it produced a favorable outcome. Here, Homura's action could then be seen as justified as they result in a world where Madoka could actually live a normal life. It's very interesting. Thus, Homura's arc raises these thought-provoking questions about the morality of her actions and sacrifices. Are Homura's actions justified because they lead to a better outcome? Or are they wrong because they violated Madoka's wishes in the first place? The answer largely depends on each individual's perspective, and there's really no right or wrong answer. But that's what makes her character and her entire series very intriguing to analyze. The exploration of Homura's character brings out the depth and complexity of her motivations, actions, and the psychological and philosophical themes they embody. She serves as a compelling example of how sacrifice in Madoka Magica is not just about a physical act, but it's also something that is deeply emotional and a psychological journey as well. Now, the ultimate question we left is, was it all worth it? The answer is, of course, very multifaceted, as varied as characters themselves, and heavily entwined with their individual values, beliefs, and their understanding of their own roles. In the end, Madoka Magica shows us that sacrifices can reveal our deepest psyche, unmask our roles, fears, and desires, and expose the lengths in which we would be able to go and attain and protect what we believe in. Thank you guys for joining me in this discussion and exploration of the psychology of sacrifice in Madoka Magica. What are your thoughts? Like, were their actions and sacrifices justified? And do you believe that there could be another way? Well, let's continue the discussion in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more in-depth anime analysis. See you next time!